Good afternoon, everybody. It appears we're having some technical issues, so I'm going to pre-record today's lesson, post it in Classroom. First thing you need to do is get yourself signed in. So pause this video, go to Classroom, 11:10 attendance, complete it, submit it. Once you are done with that, I need you to go to Classwork, Unit 2, because remember, we're in Chemistry Unit 2 now. The assignment for today is labeled Comparing Gases. Open that up and open up the Google Doc that is attached to it. Go ahead, pause the video, get that done, come back. So if we look at this document right here, we are going to be there's going to be a short little reading thing that we are going to do together. I will read it, you follow along. Second part is going to be a couple of demonstrations. I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to show you my firebending skills today. And then the last thing is going to be you are going to answer a couple of questions as a follow-up. Pretty simple, not too much today. So we are going to begin with the reading. So you need to have the document up and just follow along with me as I read. So matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. We're starting with paragraph number 1. What does this mean? Well, mass is a measure of the amount of a substance that is present. Okay, cool. So what does that mean? Well, my child, everything we can interact with is made of stuff. Can we agree on that? Anything that you can pick up, touch, anything is, we can just call it stuff. My metal brick that I use as my example of matter all the time. This is stuff. So before we get into our actual science thing, because science is learning another language, we're going to define a couple of terms. Our first term is going to be the word that I just used 5 times, substance. Substance or stuff is a general term for any kind of matter. General means it can refer to really anything that you can touch, interact with, feel, like anything that is not energy is going to be some substance. It usually refers to something that is made out of only one kind of matter. That's not like super important right now, but it just is an example. My metal brick is made out of one kind of matter. It's just metal. One kind. So this is a substance. Mass is a measure of how much stuff is in our substance. We're going to come back to this later because it is kind of a complicated topic, but for right now, what you need to know is that mass and weight are very similar. They're different in some very important ways, but they are very similar. So if you think about weight, that is the thing that you're familiar with that is mass. Volume, not like on your TV, not like on the radio. It's the amount of space that something takes up. Bigger things, larger volumes. Lastly, property. It's a unique characteristic of a substance. For example, color, hardness, flammability, and reactivity. Those are just some examples. For example, my metal, most metals have a property of being kind of shiny and silver. Not all, but most metals are shiny and silver. Most metals are pretty hard. I'm not going to, but if I got hit in the head with this, it would hurt a lot. Metals are not very flammable. Metals can be reactive. We'll get to that later in the quarter. Paragraph number 2 now. Did you know that air is made out of matter? Many people think that air is not stuff, but I guarantee you that it is. In this unit, we'll be working up to an idea that describes the behavior of air and other gases. So when we think the word gas, a lot of people think car. A lot of people think the fuel that you put into a car to make it go. That is not gas in science. So that is a type of gas. That is a thing that we call gas. But in science, gases are going to be things like vapors, air, anything that is that you can it's very complicated, and we're going to get to. But to begin first, I want to show you that there are different types of gases. We are supposed to be using smelly things as our phenomena this quarter. Remember, phenomena is our thing that our experience. But since we're not in the classroom and webcams don't have scratch and sniff, we will have to do things a little differently. We will begin our investigation, paragraph 3, of the behaviors of gases by examining a couple of different gases and seeing how they behave. Mr. Dre, me, has set up a couple of different gases, and we'll be comparing some of their properties. The fun ones, which is flammability today. Get ready for some explosions. And honestly, is it really science class if I have my eyebrows at the end of it? So, while I'm doing the following demonstrations, I'd like you to follow along with the questions. Question number 1, so we're going to start with demo number 1, 2 balloons. There are 3 questions here. 1, how does blowing up a balloon show that air is made of stuff? I'd like you to write your answer in that box. 2, what is inside of the balloon? Because there is something in there. And 3 is going to be, how do my balloons react differently when I hit them with a lighter? So first I kind of want to talk about question number 1, then I'll talk a little bit about question number 2, then I will show you the answer to question 3. So for number 1, we think about our balloon, right? Just a piece of rubber, basically. How does blowing this up show that air is made of stuff? Well, I'm taking air from my body. The short answer is that I'm taking air from my body and I'm pushing it with my lungs into the balloon. And when I do that, it fills up the balloon. So this balloon is full of, like, something made this balloon get bigger. And that was the air from my lungs made this balloon get bigger. So I think that should answer question number 1 and question number 2. So you pause now and answer that. When you come back, just for funsies, God, I love this job. All right, so what I'm going to do now for number 3 is I have these pink balloons up here, which I'm going to grab one of, and I color-coded them. So the pink balloons are filled with something special. The yellow balloons are going to be filled with, the yellow balloon is going to be filled with air. So I'm going to blow this up. And we're going to compare the way these react with a lighter, which is a way of examining what's called the flammability, or will something catch on fire, is basically the question we're trying to answer. So air, we should kind of have experience with. Air is not really, like if I light a lighter, does all the air catch on fire? No, just a little bit of it. Just the stuff at the tip of the lighter. So first thing I'm going to do, always safety first. Goggles on. Now give me a couple seconds to set this up. Get myself positioned perfectly. I'm going to put my yellow balloon right here on this, it's called a ring stand. Get it positioned just right. So before we get this done, you don't have to write this down, but I want you to make a prediction. What is going to happen when I hit this balloon with a lighter? Just make a prediction. And 3, 2, 1. So yellow balloon filled with regular old air. And it pops, but not too spectacular. Nothing too cool happened. I would say that the air is not very flammable after seeing that. So, pink balloon next. Now this is filled with something special. This is filled with a gas that is flammable. So I want you to pay attention here. 3, 2, 1. Now what was the difference there? The gas in the other one definitely exploded, right? Now, I don't know if you guys got to see the fireball, right? But here, I got another one and we're off for the day. So, like I said, what is science class if I still got my eyebrows at the end of it? Actually, we're going to mix it up and I'm going to get out the big boy. So this is an extreme lighter. We're gonna see if this changes anything about it. So 3, 2, 1. Woo! I think that might have been a little bit of a bigger explosion. Awesome. So that was pretty cool, right? I think so. It's actually funny that no, you know what? We won't get into that. That's a little bit complicated.